They control with emotion. We reveal the pattern. Psych Atlas.
Some people hear words. Others hear the pause before the lie. They notice the smile that appears half a second too late, the compliment that carries a hidden blade, the shift in someone's voice when envy enters the room. And because they notice these things, people call them paranoid, too sensitive, overthinking. But what if your mind is not broken? What if your nervous system learned to detect what others were trained to ignore? This is hyper-awareness. And when you understand it, it becomes more than a burden. It becomes a defense system. Here are 7 signs you're hyper-aware, and why people can't manipulate you easily. The first sign is simple. You can feel the room change before anyone says a word. Someone walks in, and the atmosphere tightens. A conversation continues, but something underneath it has shifted. People keep smiling, but your body already knows the truth. This is not magic. It is pattern recognition. Your brain is collecting small signals: posture, breathing, eye contact, silence, timing, tone. Most people wait for obvious evidence. You notice the emotional weather before the storm arrives. And manipulators hate this, because manipulation works best when the target ignores the first warning signal. You don't. You feel the temperature drop before the mask slips. The second sign: you do not only listen to words, you listen to what people avoid. When someone gives you a long explanation but never answers the real question, you notice. When they change the subject right before accountability appears, you notice. When they say, "You're overthinking," instead of explaining their behavior, you notice. Hyper-aware people understand that silence has structure. Avoidance is not empty. It points directly at the place someone does not want you to look. This is why manipulative people often become uncomfortable around you. They can control their words, but they cannot always control the gaps between them. And you read the gaps. The third sign is that fake warmth does not calm you, it alarms you. Some people can charm an entire room. They smile, compliment, flatter, laugh at the right moment, and make everyone feel safe. But something in you stays still. Because you can feel when warmth is being performed instead of offered. A real kind person does not make your nervous system negotiate with itself. A fake kind person creates confusion. Their words say, "I like you." Their energy says, "I am studying you." Hyper-aware people often detect this early, not because they are negative, not because they distrust everyone, but because their mind separates emotional presence from social performance. A manipulator can copy kindness, but they cannot always copy sincerity. The fourth sign: you replay details other people dismiss. A look, a delay, a strange reaction, a sentence that sounded normal but felt wrong. But sometimes your mind is not obsessing. It is reviewing evidence. Hyper-awareness often forms when the brain learns that danger does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it arrives disguised as a joke, a compliment, a small inconsistency, a tiny emotional punishment. So your mind goes back to the moment where something did not match. This can become exhausting if you let it control you. But when trained correctly, it becomes discernment. The goal is not to analyze everything forever. The goal is to recognize the pattern, then return to yourself. The fifth sign is one of the clearest. You can feel when a compliment is not clean. Someone says, "I'm happy for you," but their face tightens. They praise your success, but immediately shrink it. They ask questions that look supportive, but feel like measurement. How did you get that? Who helped you? Are you sure you're ready for that? The words sound innocent. The energy does not. Hyper-aware people notice the micro-reaction before the social mask returns, because envy often leaks before it speaks. And this is why people with hidden resentment struggle around you. They want to appear supportive while secretly studying your rise. But you can feel the split. You do not need to accuse them. You only need to observe. Their reaction to your growth tells you more than their words ever will. The sixth sign: Inconsistency affects your body before your mind explains why. One day they are warm, the next day they are distant, then they return as if nothing happened. Most people chase the reason. You feel the pattern. Your nervous system understands intermittent reinforcement before your conscious mind names it. This is one of the oldest control mechanisms in human behavior. Reward, withdrawal, reward, withdrawal. The target becomes addicted to restoring the good version of the person. But hyper-aware people eventually see the machinery. They stop asking, why are they acting this way, and start asking, what is this pattern doing to me? That question breaks the spell, because the moment you study the pattern instead of chasing the person, their control begins to collapse. The seventh sign is the most important. Manipulators often dislike you without knowing why. They may call you difficult, cold, too intense, hard to read, but what they really mean is this: you are hard to program. You do not react on command. You do not accept guilt without evidence. You do not confuse intensity with truth. You do not mistake pressure for love. Manipulation needs predictable emotional buttons. If they know what makes you afraid, they can control your silence. If they know what makes you desperate, they can control your choices. If they know what makes you seek approval, they can control your identity. But hyper-awareness interrupts the process. You see the button before they press it. The mechanism loses power. But there is a shadow side. Hyper-awareness can protect you. It can also imprison you. If every room feels dangerous, you will mistake peace for a trap. If every pause feels suspicious, you will exhaust your own mind. If every person becomes a possible threat, you will confuse survival with wisdom. The goal is not to become suspicious of everyone. The goal is to become loyal to reality. Hyper-awareness without regulation becomes anxiety. Hyper-awareness with discipline becomes intelligence. You do not need to react to everything you notice. Sometimes the strongest move is to observe quietly, store the pattern, and let time reveal the truth. Because time exposes what charm protects. So if you notice the pause before the lie, if fake warmth feels louder than honest silence, if you can sense the hidden tension behind beautiful words, you are not broken. You are reading a language most people are taught to ignore. But remember this: your gift is not seeing darkness everywhere. Your gift is seeing clearly, even when darkness is dressed as light. The mind is the only territory worth defending. Welcome to Psych Atlas. Subscribe for more breakdowns of dark psychology, manipulation, and the hidden architecture of human behavior.